Hello, everyone. Welcome to the third FLIP Fortnightly Wrap of this little series. And today I'm blessed to have David, who's taken time out of his extremely busy week. He's the product lead at Chainflip. And as you all have probably been seeing from the announcements and everything, we've had a crazy week of developments, specifically on the product side. Not only with the launch of Boost, but also, upcoming Solana and DCA features. It's been pretty all out on the outside. So it was, I think, a perfect opportunity to bring David on to chat more about, the product, and to give you a little bit more of an insight on, how things work, because this is pretty much everything that you all are working with and playing with. So yeah, let's start off maybe by just, David, give a bit of an introduction. Tell us a little bit about yourself and, how you kind of came about designing and developing this product.
Okay, so thanks for having me. I think it's going to be my first time jumping into one of these spaces. So looking forward to tell you about what's been cooking, what's coming, some teaser, and maybe shed some light on how we work in general. So I can do a quick intro about myself. I'm David from Argentina. I moved to Berlin 4 years ago, a little bit over 4 years ago, and I've been working at Chainflip for almost 2 years. Coming, of course, from the typical Web2 background, former engineering as well. So definitely the technical background helps when it comes to leading a cross-functional product team, which is right now a size of 5 developers, a designer, and myself. So everything that you see in the apps, including the SDK, and that is under our umbrella. Sure.
But actually, the big thing is actually including the SDK, because it's not something that everyone sees.
Yeah.
But that's, B2B is just as important as B2C, right? And that's a whole game on its own.
That's right. Developer experience, and on the other hand, the user experience, depending on the persona we're talking about.
Yeah.
Swapping up has an audience. The LP app has a different audience. And like you say, when it comes to B2B aspect, the SDK is making sure that the actual partners and their teams can successfully integrate Chainflip as soon as possible.
I think that's a good point. Like, the thing with Chainflip is we're not just, some layer that, gets built on. We've got our own products built within that. That's all kind of run by David. Some that you have probably all interacted with, some not. Like, yes, the SDK, but also, we have the swapping app, and that's quite rare for a protocol to basically build not only just like the base layer, but also on top of that have like this fully functioning swapping app. And I think this is why it's important, because David's role is to connect the two together so that there can be a seamless interface. And we're catering for different audiences here. We got the retail side, but we've also got the LP side. And I think this will be nice today to kind of go through a bit of both, showcase some Boost, and take it from there. Where do you want to start, David? Do you want to start with swapping app? Would you like to go LP app?
Sure. Yeah. For sure, the swapping app is under use in the SDK, so we are top coding in that sense. Right?
Yeah.
We're suffering firsthand our own, rough edges even when we have to use our own SDK. So for sure, I can make a swap and show you how it works. I mean, we can talk through the user flow, the user journey, how that works. So I see that my screen is there. So usually I can definitely try and boost. Well, I think we can go to a regular swap first and then move from there. We can definitely get some flip, as you should.
I knew it. I knew it.
So, I have so many wallets. I can tell you how many wallets I have. testing across all apps, and sometimes it's just a mess.
No, you keep it organized, to be honest.
This is, let me do one thing. Let's do perseverance, right? Because I don't have enough real funds right now. So, yes, the first thing that sometimes comes as a surprise for someone that is not familiar with our app is the deposit address, right? So you don't necessarily need to connect your wallet to perform a swap in our app, which is something that I can. You could argue that it's one of the differentiators we have. You don't need a specific wallet. You can just make a simple transfer, which is cheaper, and also there's always a risk of trying a new product or a new protocol. You're like, I don't know if I want to connect my wallet. Simple enough. You can just create the deposit address, as you see here, and just send the funds, right? You can make, in this case, a swap, or obviously, in my case, I can just connect my wallet and send it from my wallet.
I think that feature, like, that's a great user experience too for the user. Like, you see a lot of front ends that just have all of these different connections, especially if you're playing on different chains, like let's just say Solana and Bitcoin. You're connecting two different wallets, and it gets a bit clunky.
Oh, that is extremely challenging experience. Imagine that everyone complains about the fact that you need to use wallets, the pop-ups, the conflict between the extensions, which is a nightmare when you need to take into account the different browsers and versions. Imagine you have to connect two wallets.
It is a nightmare.
And sometimes it's extremely conflicting. So, I think when you're coming for the first time in the cross-chain space, whether you like it or not, you will start understanding a bit of the difference between different chains and how the regular swapping experience in your Uniswap app is way more simplified just because everything happens in one chain. Yes, so maybe something I can mention here when we display this block confirmation screen is that is what we call the safety margin. You can find that in our talks. And basically is where we consider as safe for the protocol to say, okay, this deposit was witnessed, and we can proceed and make that swap. You could lower that threshold, but of course it's risk that something happens with the transaction doesn't go through and you still move ahead. But yeah, more than that is something that in Bitcoin, for instance, and with our new launch feature Boost, we're lowering to only one confirmation block.
Which has seen some pretty crazy times. Maybe we can go and explore it later and show, but there's been some 3-minute, 5-minute swaps from BTC to ETH. It's pretty crazy to see. Besides the yield, it's also good for the user too. What's on the right here? We're seeing both refund address and destination address. That's new fill or kill, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
One of the main feedback that we got when we launched was the inability to provide a slippage tolerance, which is both response to the industry on the bad things that can happen, as a user when you're going to swap and you get a worse price or you get sandwich or whatever. But at the same time, in our case, because we have amazing pricing, that's what we usually expect when you swap. Now, with fill or kill, you can comfortably define that tolerance. So you'll have a minimum price where your swap is going to be executed. And if you saw in the previous screen, we saw a deadline. I can show after in the settings, but we have this swap deadline. If you're familiar with CoSwap, they have the same thing in their settings, and that is how long we're gonna retry to get the price we guaranteed, at least that price to guarantee, which is great. But one of the tricky functionalities we had to build in the protocol to support this on top of the type order, the order type itself was a refund mechanism. So if something goes wrong, we have to kill that order. Then where should we return the funds? Especially if you use deposit address, right?
Yeah.
You didn't connect your wallet, we don't know where you're sending the funds. So you can set that refund address and we can default to that if we didn't meet your requirement.
And the refund address can also be any address as well. It doesn't have to be the same one that you deposited with, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It can be anything.
Which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah. Over here we got the things work slower on testnet, FYI. Especially with Bitcoin. So yeah.
Yeah, it gave us a chance to talk about that, right? So maybe what I can show as well is how you can verify what's going on. Right?
Yeah.
One of the main principles that we have is we want to be as transparent as we can. Right? We want to give you everything that you want to know. Of course, different users, power users, prefer to see more data. Less sophisticated users want to see less and don't be overwhelmed. But if you want, through progressive disclosure, we can just give you everything you need. Here you can see the whole timeline of the different events that take place from the moment we created the deposit channel, since we received your deposit, the fees involved, the transaction reference, how the swap went through, why we're using these swap 1 and swap 2, which are the legs, because we're always going through USDC, which is how our protocol works. And finally, that summary about the rate you got, the estimated time to completion, different metadata, and everything you want to see if you really want to go in depth. Which our guess is, if you're getting familiar with Chainflip, that's what you want to see at the beginning. Right?
Yeah. I think that's pretty important too. Like it comes to, I think the whole transparency also falls down on just pricing and fees. You'll notice, when we have all the data for the swap, when we're about to execute it, like we have a very detailed description of all the fees broken down, and we show you your output price as it would be after all fees is taken into account. There's no hidden fees or anything like that. It's just, it is what it is. That's what you got. I mean, we've had kickback from other people saying, that's not how it's done, but we've not accepted that as an answer already, which is really good.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is a sneaky approach, so to speak, that sometimes you just say, okay, this is the rate, but you're not accounting for the overall piece.
Yeah.
And then when you calculate that, your actual rate is actually lower.
Yeah.
I guess that is, a decision that each project make. In our case, again, we really want to give you the true rate after all fees involved. And even against, even when we're compared with other projects where they are not doing it like that, we still beat them on price, which is, very encouraging.
Yeah. Swap. We can let's go to the main swap page and just show full or kill the settings that maybe.
Yes. So this is what I was talking about before, right? This is slippage protection has a tolerance which will be a default for you. And bear in mind that for V1, we really wanted to have full or kill out as soon as possible, but this protection would be more sophisticated, would be dynamic. Right? Right now, it's quite dumb and applies to all your any market, basically any amount. But the idea is that this slippage tolerance will come as a recommendation from us based on the market, the pair, and based on the size of the swap. You can still have full control and go and change the slippage protection to your taste. That is totally fine. But I believe in the power of defaults, like that paper that is around about Uniswap, the slippage analysis. And I think that is part of the let's try to make a better UX in crypto in general, right? Like, yes, you should give the power users the ability to have full control over the different options and attributes. But most users care about you know, getting the job done with the least amount of cognitive friction.
You get, it can be overwhelming at times if you're maybe a new user and you're given all the tools to operate like an advanced mode. It can be overwhelming because you want the best, and sometimes you do just want the power of default, which is they know what's best. Give me that so I can just execute these things.
Exactly.
Yeah. This has been a great feature. This has been asked for a lot. It also helps a lot during times of volatility, when there's low liquidity because there's one direction being swapped a lot. It just gives you a guarantee of getting your order for what you've asked for and not have any different fees come out, which definitely helps a lot just for user retention. Keep users coming in because they know that they can trust the price that they get coming in.
Yeah, I mean, waiting to get the price you hope you would get without having something like fill or kill or slippage protection is a very anxiety-inducing process, right? Like it's like, well, basically, going after a market order, so to speak.
Yeah.
But cross-chain, knowing that a lot of
that's a good way of describing it.
Stuff can happen in the middle. So
yeah,
for sure, like I said, it was a clear feedback from the moment we launched, and since then we have been working to get this out, which has been quite complete.
Yeah, but you did it. You snuck it in too with Boost as well. You did both.
Yeah.
It was impressive. Nice. All right. Yeah. I mean, move on. I guess that's So that's the product. I mean, that's the swap and app. Did the swap go through in the end? Yeah, it did. Yes. Cool. Yeah. So we can see the full breakdown of everything. There's the refund and destination address that we mentioned. So from Full or Kill, time it's taken, and just a full breakdown, and you can get more details if you want.
That it's funny because this is V1 of our swapping app, and now that I see the full log to the right, and at this point after several months of being live, it might be that is way too much information. So I'm curious. I'm curious about users what they think about the log. It should be something that is always visible. It should be collapsible, or maybe even a setting. But again, it's part of our effort to be fully transparent, at least since day one, where we're the new kid in the block, and as we gain the reputation with our users and they get more familiar with our products, we kind of start using different UX approaches just to display the information in a different way, or be less overwhelmed. Right?
Yeah.
Right now it's quite a lot. So, but for sure we have a bunch of improvements in mind for the coming months.
Yeah, that's the Poppin app. I think it'll be nice to maybe showcase Boost for some of them, just some of the settings and
the new hot.
Crazy.
Yeah, with Boost, we this was one of the true cross, I would say, company-wide collaboration for this feature. Like I said, because we have the apps, the products built on top of the protocol, right? And sometimes you require a lot of coordination and collaboration between the teams. And this one was probably the first canonical example of a joint effort from day one. It took us a while, but I'm pretty happy with the result. And I just couldn't wait to see this out of the door. For sure, it required a full revamp of the liquidity provisioning app, which some of the audience maybe remember the first version, which that was really an MVP. the original plan for liquidity provision in Chainflip was mostly professional market makers, and the app was a way to see and verify was maybe manage a balance, a state chain account, and we for sure encountered all these challenges with dealing with the Polkadot ecosystem, right? So the substrate wallets, Polkadot wallet, the fact that the state chain is a substrate-based blockchain, and challenge was how can we make this app something that is closer to the audience that is going to be appealing, would be attracted to something like Boost. So I know that we got a lot of good feedback after we implemented MetaMask snaps to log in and register in the LP app. We definitely received a good amount of liquidity since Tuesday launch. Look at this APY numbers, Sean. I hope you're here.
I am. Small bags.
Yeah, this is obviously a test account as well, and here we have how the APY went crazy at the beginning, but of course it's going to eventually stabilize as we see volume coming through and liquidity getting filled into the different pools. The portfolio view, if you're doing both, is one of those typical retail things, right? So we try to come up with something that is familiar to those using different centralized and decentralized apps, right? It's getting for sure more and more user friendly in that front. If you're already doing something with regular orders or market making in Chainflip, either because you're a pro or because you're using our Chainflip card script around to play around, definitely something that requires some work to conceal both.
What was the direction? I guess I like what you said about taking. We had the initial MVP for the LP app, which was catered towards we needed to get it out for the market makers in order for our product to just be at a state in order to function then. But now what we're seeing is a big move to be more retail friendly, not only on the onboarding side, but just on the whole focus on, it's kind of turning into a trade account, like managing your balances. It's kind of following that position of, doing what a centralized exchange does, but just all on chain. Is that kind of the direction where you see the LP app being, where you want those types of users?
That's right, my friend. And for sure, Simon at some point will probably share more about the vision that we see for this particular product. But for sure, we want to move towards having a true exchange experience where you can perform swaps straight here in the app, and get it into new opportunities to get yield. Boost could be the first one. We could have more, and it's really exciting for me and the rest of the team to think about this app. At the beginning, some MVP that we wanted to validate. We didn't know how much traction we would get in that sense, and now I see a lot of excitement. I see even a Telegram group about liquidity provision, Chainflip, people building on top, which is the most exciting thing that you can see when others are building on top of what you're doing. That always makes me very happy to see. It's that ecosystem at the end you want to build, which is eventually creates that network effect on what you're doing.
Yeah, I like that. Keep boosting over there. Nice. Talk about the pools. Actually, I think I did get some feedback from a couple of people wanting to know kind of how the fee system works here. Because we've got three different fee tiers. The user doesn't choose a fee tier, right? The user just will get whatever the latest fee tier is and work upwards. Is that right?
Right. So you're speaking from the swapper point of view.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the way it works is when a swapper says, "Hey, I want to boost this deposit," and this is an important distinction. What is boost is the deposit, not the actual swap. So that means that we're going to witness that deposit sooner. But in order to do that and basically bypass, quote unquote, the safety margin of the regular confirmation blocks, say, hey, this is deposit is in after only one, is because a counterpart, in this case the LPs, are providing liquidity as a collateral. So the way it works for the swapper is we are gonna try to boost your deposit. Always from left to right when it comes to boost pool fees, right? So we're gonna start with a cheap pool, and we're gonna try to exhaust all the liquidity in that pool to see if we can boost your deposit. If we need more liquidity, we're gonna take the second one with higher fee, and we're gonna try to exhaust that. So then the fee is gonna be an average of the proportional liquidity you took from both pools, and so on and so forth up until the last one. So yeah, that means that in the worst case scenario, you're gonna pay as a swapper, you're gonna pay the highest fee on the highest fee boost pool, but only if the other two liquidity pools are fully in use.
Yeah. And it's crazy. I think I wish I had the number. I was chatting to our designer Hugo, was it yesterday, just to kind of get a number of like how many swaps that have come through our front end from BTC to whatever asset have been boosted. And it's safe to say that the majority of them are being boosted at the moment, from what we've seen so far, which is quite incredible to see. But how much volume have we done so far in boost?
If we go to here, let's see. Wait. No, actually, we have it here.
Oh, that's true, right down there.
Here. Sometimes I forget about all the areas on our own products, you know. So yeah, you can see. I mean, true that it's been quite high at the beginning. I do expect that to be the case after you launch. The excitement is high. People are paying attention, and we didn't even. We're not even there for a week.
Yeah.
So after the first week, I would like to see how what's the proportion of the overall volume when it comes to starting from Bitcoin. But yeah, right now you have around a little bit over 2 million, 2.3 million volume going through.
And how much liquidity do we have so far at the moment? 190 something, 190,000 or something.
Total
Boost liquidity.
With liquidity to 123K.
Yeah, so that's pretty insane to think that we've had that much volume come through already with just that much liquidity.
And 1.2K already in boost fees.
Crazy. Native Bitcoin.
Yes, sir. Native Bitcoin. Exactly. You should add more liquidity to your own account.
Just stack the sats, man. Yeah, that's great. That's really great. Yeah, I think we've hit the half an hour mark, but I do want to open up the floor a little bit to some of the community members for feedback. So yeah, let's check the socials. Let's see what we got here. Are we good on Telegram? Need to think about a correct time to be doing these types of things. It's very difficult, like to cater for both the US audiences as well as the European and the Southeast Asian area. But yeah, no questions so far. A lot tuned in today, which has been super good.
Anything you want to know, sir?
Lots. I can always just bug you. You sit like opposite me. I don't know. I just wanted to say congrats, first of all, on the launch. I think like the big thing that resonated for me was the whole collaboration with all the teams. I really like it when we do that because marketing kind of comes in last to this final stage, and it's a lot of us, well, me waiting for what's going to come out there, and try and ride the narrative, ride the hype that's getting built up for something, and like it becomes a cyclical effect of protocol builds something while product is building on it, and then we market it, and then we rinse and repeat, and we keep that momentum going. And this was a really great challenge for all of us to kind of work together to have this like seamless interface,
Right.
And I enjoyed that a lot.
Yeah, for sure. If you try to do that as you described sequentially, then you might find out that certain things were missed or something. You have to go back, and it's time consuming. But I think in this case we build this virtual squad to tackle boost, and we really got into a very good place and pace as well. Because sometimes it's hard to explain outside Chainflip how much of a lift some of the things are. Like Boost, for instance, is something that pretty much touch every single product in our portfolio.
Yeah,
absolutely everything. From the protocol course, but then every single app in the product, the SDK, and that's truly a massive lift.
Cool. Redesign too as well, like you said on the LP app, kind of playing with the Boost branding as well, and also fitting this into the mountain of other stuff that we've got going on. I'm sure you both have seen, if not yet, but we have 1.6 already out on Perseverance for the binaries that have been released in Perseverance.
That's right.
Which is Solana and DCA. And yes, while that's in the protocol side of things, there's also a lift that needs to be done to get that on the products. Not only Solana, but also now DCA, which is a completely new feature on top.
Oh, that is, let me tell you, before this meeting, that was exactly what I was doing. Working with Huge and the rest of the team, trying to, come up with a good proposal, also getting feedback internally from the rest of the team to come up with an experience that works for both. DCA, regular swaps, but also accounts for Boost and Feed or Kill, which it's quite a lot. Like it's very easy to overwhelm a user with all those options. Killer features.
Yeah,
overwhelming. Nevertheless,
because we live with it every day. We're like, that's what we want. We know how to tweak what we need to tweak. But you push like all of this onto a user that's maybe not is using not Chainflip for the end goal, but more to just get to where they need to go. They're like, fuck, what is FLIP or Kill? Like, what is Boost? What is TCA? I don't care. Just give me my funds. It's like it's hard. So that's always a challenge. But yeah, thanks, David. It's pretty nice. I like this. We should.
Thanks for the invitation, sir.
Yeah, some good content out of this, and nice way to start the weekend for everyone. Enjoy listening to this if you haven't yet over the weekend, and
let us know if you want us to cover something else in potential next session.
That'll be cool. Also, I guess on the note that David mentioned about, we have all these Telegram groups that are kind of popping up from community members, like the liquidity provision, as well as just our general community. A lot of feedback we get actually from those groups, which I think is super useful.
So keep it up.
Yeah.
And thanks. And sometimes I can't reply every single message, but trust me, I'm reading all of them and I'm collecting them and taking that into account when planning stuff. So thank you.
Thank you, sir. Cool. Cheers, folks.